What's up guys, Ewan here and welcome back to another Liverpool news update video. And today we're going to be talking about Pagliuca, the American, I don't know if I said his name right by the way, the American investor who used to own Burger King is rumoured to be the favourite to buy Liverpool. And we talk about the Middle East countries as well. They seem to have ruled themselves out, as well as a bit of Derby County. Liverpool played tonight in the Carabao Cup. So if you like these videos, make sure to smash the like button. Let's get into it. As we all know, on Monday, David Ornstein released that tweet saying that Liverpool have been put up for sale, and we basically just broke the internet with it. And yesterday, the British billionaire Jim Ratcliffe announced that he's not running to purchase a stake in the club or complete a takeover, which is quite interesting because he was also rumoured to be buying Chelsea. So I think he's just not got the money to fund Liverpool. So in a statement, FSG said that they are fully committed to Liverpool, but they did not rule out completely that they want to sell. In fact, they basically are hinting that they are open to offers, which is really interesting. But what I find interesting though is it a complete takeover or is it just investment in a stake? Because why would they be doing all the stands and everything if they just in the training ground if they're just going to just sell it? I find that strange. So I'll talk a bit about the favourite to actually take over Liverpool. Now, again, we don't know if it's a full takeover or he's just going to put a stake in because he's got a lot of history of FSG, this guy. His name is, and I forget his pronunciation, so forgive me, Stephen Pagliuca. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he's an American businessman. And he's a potential Liverpool owner. Stephen Pagliuca boasts assets 112 billion, greater than those of Manchester City owner Sheikh Mansour. So, is he going to buy Liverpool? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. So in the running for Liverpool, it's so funny this is. Is one of the contenders. It is understood to be the former Burger King director who was previously in the running to buy Chelsea. So we're going to have an owner that owned Burger King for a sports team. Nice. So according to reports, FSG rejected a £3 billion bid back in May from the Middle East. However, today, if you've been on Twitter, you can pretty much see that the Middle East are very unlikely to buy Liverpool. So it was Dubai and Saudi Arabia. Forgive me, I don't know who said the tweet, but they've pretty much ruled themselves out, the Middle Eastern countries. It seems the most likely, in my opinion, to be this Pagliuca guy who's had a lot of history with FSG, and I think it would be quite a good transition if he was to buy the club. So a bit more on Pagliuca. He is a private equity investor and the co-chairman of Bain. However, he also commands a 55% stake in Atalanta, the Serie A side, as well as the co-owner of NBA Behemoths, the Boston Celtics. So this guy knows football, European football especially, but he also knows how to run an NBA team, which is really important. But as mentioned before, he is perhaps most known for the role he played at fast food giant Burger King, whom, and I quote, he helped guide back to profitability between 2002 and 2009, reports The Athletic. He is understood he's already to be a contender to take over Jurgen Klopp's side due to his familiarity with FSG. I guess, I don't know how they know each other, but it just seems to be very, very close. This guy seems to be the favourite, if I'm honest, guys. So a bit more background on Stephen Pagliuca. I'm just going to become a meme for that. So, like I said, he's an American private equity investor, co-chairman of Bain Capital, owns NBA, co-owner of NBA, and also a stake in Atalanta. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, in the 16th of January 1955, which makes him 67 years old. So Pagliuca owns over 1,000 units of Gartner stock worth over $19 million. And over the last 19 years, he has sold IT stock worth over $3.8 billion, which makes him extremely rich. In addition, he makes $300,000 as an independent director of Gartner. So this guy knows how to make money. But does he know how to run a football club? That's the big question. Pagliuca bought the Celtics, which is an NBA team. I don't know anything about NBA, so please don't quote me on that. Back in 2002, so he's been He's been running a sports team for a long time, 20 years now. So this guy knows what he's doing. I've seen a few Liverpool fans that tweeted me saying, "Oh, I don't want an American again. You know, they're all capitalists." I don't think this guy seems to know how to run things. Let me know in the comments, how are the Celtics doing? I do not know anything about NBA. This is purely Liverpool. Also, Pagliuca is part of the Democratic Party, so not going well for them on politics side in America, I wouldn't say, but I'm not going to get into that. He studied at Harvard University, Duke University, Harvard Business School, and Ridge High School. So this guy is like, wow, he's proper educated. So hopefully he can be pretty decent as a club runner. So this is what journalist Matt Slater from The Athletic said about Pagliuca. I'm not going to get his name right, oh my god. Pagliuca, and how he's a potential fit for Liverpool. And he says this, and I quote, "My hunch would be looking at the losers from the Chelsea process and anyone else that is mentioned in that, because those are your rich American groups," he explained. Guys who have said, "Yeah, I'd quite like an EPL team." Harris Blitzer, who already owns a share at Crystal Palace, Pagliuca, Steve Pagliuca, the guy who owns the Boston Celtics. I think there's quite a lot of parallels there between the Celtics, Liverpool in terms of the franchise. He knows some guys in the FSG group. And finally, Ricketts, the guys that own the Chicago Cubs, Woody Johnson that own the New York Jets. There are names that keep coming up, whether it's Spurs, Chelsea, the next club that comes up in the Premier League. These are the guys you want to be phoning. So basically, there's a lot of interest at the minute from American teams American businessmen in Premier League teams, as Todd Bowley owns Chelsea, you know that. Not so good, he wants to make that European Super League, European All-Stars game, whatever it is, North, East, South in England, which isn't going to work. I don't want an owner like that. Pagliuca seems a bit more like he knows what he's doing regarding running clubs, and he's purely in it for the best interest of the club, which I think will suit a lot of Liverpool fans. We don't want countries owning our club, because, you know, Liverpool's a working class city. We're not up there rich. You know, we like honest people to run our club, and I think this guy could be the guy to run Liverpool. He seems to be the favourite today, as I'm recording this on the 9th of November. So, what do you think? A bit more on Pagliuca. He's an absolute football fan, it believes, as he personally wanted to buy Chelsea back in April when Roman Abramovich had to sell the club. Well, not sell the club, got the club taken off him. So the businessman also reportedly suggested that he would sell his 55% share in Serie A side Atalanta, according to TalkSport. So that's interesting. So he was willing to sell Atalanta's stock and share and come to Liverpool and put it all into Liverpool, where the money is. Let's be honest, with companies like Amazon now getting involved in showing the Premier League. So such a share can potentially cause issues surrounding the clubs facing each other in European competition. I guess that's the case we face them in the Champions League. I'm going to talk a bit more about why the Middle East are not going to be buying Liverpool, and I think it's purely down to the area Liverpool. We don't want countries owning our club. James Brooks explains the reason why Liverpool and the Middle East would not be a good fit, and I quote again, "So sovereign wealth funds, well, Bahrain has been mooted, perhaps another one in the UAE, so Dubai, who looked at Liverpool a few years ago, as you remember, they nearly bought Liverpool, I think, a couple of years ago. They rejected a $3 billion bid for him, John Henry." Back to the quote, "The thing about Liverpool, though, is the fan base and how they would take to that sort of ownership, particularly as they have become quite vocal and have almost set themselves against Newcastle and Man City. So that would take a handbrake turn on the part of the whole club, really. Culturally, he doesn't seem a great fit to me. So I think it's American unless there's another very, very wealthy Asian buyer out there. Liverpool are very attractive, a bit like Man United. They've been very popular around the world for a long time. So that means billionaires who tend to be around 60 or 70 years of age, like Liverpool as Pagliuca." Still not saying so. But that explains, I think the Middle East people have been advised to avoid Liverpool because the fan base wouldn't take to it. We want a person that comes in, knows the club well, puts money in the best interest of Liverpool, not just for, just look at Man City, Newcastle, they're just putting money in, not really much connection with the fans. Whereas Liverpool, we like to have a good connection with the owners. So now let's talk a bit about the Derby County game tonight in the Carabao Cup. And it will be obviously a much changed Liverpool side. So Pepe Linders yesterday confirmed that Liverpool will be changing the lineup tomorrow against Derby, as to be expected, with all the injuries, and we need to rest players for a huge game at the weekend against Southampton, which we need to win. So as you know, that Milner's still out with concussion, and Keita picked up yet another injury, you guessed it. So he is out for that game. So this is the possible Liverpool lineup, which the Mirror believe Kelleher will be in goal. The back four will be Ramsey, Phillips, Gomez, Tsimikas. Midfield will be by Chetic, Jones and Carvalho. And up front will be Nunes, Firmino, Oxlade-Chamberlain. I don't think they'll start Nunes. I think he will be rested. But that, other than Nunes, I think that will be the team. But let me know, who do you think will start tonight? Derby, I think I've got a fully fit squad. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know much about Derby, to be honest. But yeah, so that'll do it for today's Liverpool video. Sorry it's a bit rushed, but I want to get this out there, just as we now know that Pagliuca, the American businessman, is the favourite to buy Liverpool, and it seems that the Middle Eastern countries have pulled out, possibly because of fan backlash, but I think most likely they're looking at other clubs. No disrespect, but I think they're probably looking at clubs lower down the league, which they can build a dynasty with, whereas Liverpool's already a dynasty. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.